Hello Artsies, this is Mrs. B. Welcome to Umaarteng Penmanship. Alright, so for today's videos, we will be making some holiday cards like this. Alright, some berries with hollies, poinsettia, and also we have mistletoe with ribbon. Get your supplies ready and get started. Alright, so for our holiday cards tutorial, we will be needing some watercolor paper. This is in full sheet and I cut two. We could make one big and two small cards. This is watercolor paper 300 GSM. We have also our Mungyo professional watercolor pen set. This is in 48 colors. There. For our brush, I will be using my pointed round brush. This is Kolinsky brush or Kolinsky Sable watercolor paint brush in size 6. We will be also using some tissue paper for blotting out, and we will be also using 2 cups of water. I have 2 cups here. Alright, so we will be starting our tutorial. For our first card that we will be doing, I will be painting poinsettia. It's one of a good flower to see during the holidays. I like it because it's my favorite color. That's why, and we'll be using just this 1/4 sheet only. Okay, so I've been doing watercolor quite some time. Okay, so but this is I think this is the second time. Yeah, this is the second time I am making a tutorial, but this is actually the first time that I am making a full tutorial for watercolor. So this is the yellow that I am using. I have something left over that I am using right now. So for poinsettia, we'll be doing just little dots. Okay, like little dots. Alright, you could use any other yellow. You could use a light yellow if you want to, or you could use a yellow ochre, whatever yellow that you have there. It is good. Okay, so I'm making like I'm using the tip of my brush to make some rounds, to make some dots here. Alright, so that would be the middle of my poinsettia. So now I'm cleaning my brush. Okay, just to make sure, let me clean it one more time. For the petals, it has pointy petals, so but I will be using rose madder for the petals. Okay, I'm just adding and activating the rest of my rose madder here. You could use red, but for this one we'll be using rose madder. You could use different shades of red and that would be good. Okay, so I'm going to add petals, just and then drag. Okay, heavy pressure drag, and then there, light pressure. Okay, so let's do it one more time. It's okay if it's light, and we will be making it darker later on. Okay, so let's do it again. There. Let's do one more. If you are beginner in watercolor, I suggest that you could get any synthetic round brush that you can get, because this Kolinsky brush holds a lot of water and paint, and it will be difficult for you to control it. So be careful, or you could use any synthetic round brush as long as it is watercolor brush, that would be fine. Okay, now just going around of the flower. If you can see the texture is like that, it means that you need to add more water or paint. Okay, it means that your brush is not loaded with the paint at all, so you need to get, okay, let's make this leaf. Okay, so now we will be adding more petals in the middle. I will be using permanent rose, a different shade of red, or you can add it. I'm just going to add it with the rose madder that I have. Okay, so we'll put it here at the middle. I will be painting one flower at a time, so I can show you how to paint this flower again. Okay, so one more time. I remember when we have poinsettia in our garden before. I like it so much. Okay, so there, one last here. You could also use different shades of red, or you could use one color of red or dark red. Oh, it's too this petal is too wide. Okay, so but you could use just one shade of red or whatever you have, shade of red, and then you could use it into different values. Okay, so there, and I think we need one more here. If you notice, I did not paint over this petals, but I painted like the middle of it. Okay, I painted the middle of it. Okay, so now we will be adding a little petal, but for this time I would be using Crimson Lake, because that's one of my darkest color that I have here in my palette. Okay, so I will be painting the middle of these petals. Okay, but a shorter petal, like, alright, like this. Okay, I will do it again with another petal here. Alright. Then another one here. Let's make it darker. Okay, there you go. And then another one here. To make it like a star, you can make a flower like you can imagine that there is a star. And that's how we do it. Okay, and I'll make one here in the middle of these Okay, I will make it darker. So that it won't show the overlaps of the petal of the previous paint of the first layer that we did. Okay, so there. By the way, make sure that the first petals that you've painted already dry before painting these petals at the top. Alright, there you go. Now we will be just let it dry and we will paint another poinsettia. Alright, so for our next flower, we will be making it a little flower this time, and for that I will be using size 4 brush. The previous brush that I used is size 6, and now I'll be switching to a smaller brush, or you could use also size 2. Okay, again I have this brush loaded with paint, but the paint is not too wet, it's not dripping, so that we can make a very nice center, so that when it gets dry, it won't you won't see the marks of the water, just the paint. I am just using the tip of my brush here, just tiny dots. Okay, there. And then with the paint that I used earlier with the Rose Madder and the Crimson Lake, I just added water into it, and then to make it lighter, and then that's what we're going to use for the petals. Okay, so and then we're going to drag. Alright, it's a bit too light, so let me add permanent rose with this. Okay, so there, and another one. Okay, and then the space, and another one. Alright, so we need to drag a bit, and then do it again, drag a bit, and make the ends pointy. Make sure that you leave a space in between of the first petals that we are doing. Alright, there you go. So imagine that it's a star that we have there. Okay, next I'm going to add more paint and to my mixture, and then that's I'm going to use to the petals in between. Okay, and then make sure that not touching just a little bit of the first petals that I painted. Okay, there. So you can see it's a little bit darker. Okay, and we will be making the middle of this a little more darker. Okay, there. Okay, one more. And one more here. Last. Okay, and then we're going to get a little more paint to our brush because it's not loaded. Alright, there you go. Okay, now let's make it dry. Let's wait for it to dry while waiting. I think some of the leaves, oh sorry, the petals already dry. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wet my brush and I'm going to get Crimson Lake. I will be adding that to my mixture of my permanent rose red, and then that's what I'm going to use. Okay, so that will be, I'm going to use the middle of the petals at the top that we have here. So I will be starting here because these are the first petals that I painted. So let's do it again at the middle of it. Because if you see poinsettia, the real flower, it's like layers of petals in different sizes. And it's okay if you do not make it perfectly. This is a flower, and flowers are flowers have organic shape, so don't expect that the flower that you are trying to paint is perfect. Okay, but when you keep on practicing, you will get better, and your painting will be better also. You will be painting better flowers when you keep on practicing. I tried to paint these flowers several times using different techniques, different brush, and until I get the hang of it. Okay, there, one more. Okay, there, I'm adding a little more so that it covers up, and I will add more here at the middle of this petal to cover up, and one more here. Alright, just covering up the spaces of the flower, oh sorry, of the petals that you first painted. Alright, there. That will be good. Right now for the leaves, I will be using some greens. Okay, I like using sap green, but I think I will be using a different one. Okay, so I have a lot of greens, but yeah, I will be using sap green. Sap green is like a light vibrant green. Right, and it's too bright, so I will be adding a little of violet, okay, to more green so that we could mute that vibrancy. Okay, it looks like the sap green is actually a loud color, so I added some violet to that. Okay, the leaf, it is the same technique that how we used to paint the petals, but of course we'll be using a different color. But poinsettia has big leaves, alright, so I will be adding that, and then that, so that would be the frame of, that will be the size of our flower, and going to paint the center of it. Okay, there. Okay, I will be adding one more, adding some leaves here. If you would be doing a painting with a calligraphy, you could leave a space where you could write, or you could write your greetings at the middle or at the top of your painting, so whichever you like. All right, for the small ones, seems like we made a mess here that you didn't notice, so I will be adding some green here to make a leaf, And to cover that mistake, there you go. I think I need to add more petal here, but I will be doing that later. If it's wet and you're going to add another layer of different color, wait for it to dry so that you could paint another layer of the petal. It's a mistake. Okay, I didn't notice that. Okay, so I will be also adding some little leaves, as little as like that. You could use different brush, or you could use a smaller brush if you want to make a smaller leaves. It's up to you. And I will be using a different shade of green so that I can add a little character to our painting. And then it's too straight, so I'm going to add one more there. Okay, painting leaves is a very good practice. Okay, and then I think I'd like to have more here and some more leaves here. I think I'm going to connect these leaves. Okay, I think I need to cut it out. Alright, so I will be using a different shade of green. Okay, there we go. And then another one. Okay, more leaves here. I don't have actually a pattern for the leaves. It's just I'm going I'm just going spontaneously. I don't have any plan where I'm going to put the leaves. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little petal here. There you go. So I can paint over there without mixing the colors, because if it's wet, both of it will just going to make a mess, and we do not want that. Okay, so if you see that your leaves are drying like this, it means that there are lots of water in those areas, but we will just cover it up. I'm going to add more dark green or green leaves. And then it's just the same. It's just going to drag and then heavy pressure and then drag your brush going out. Okay, let's do I'm missing something here. I can see a space here and it annoys me, so I'm going to add another petal there later on, but I think I would need to add more leaves here. Okay, like that. And then let's get the same shade of Crimson Lake. Okay, there you go. Later on, we will be adding more details on this painting, like some lines to show the petals, and also we're going to add our greetings. It's up to you if you would like to add greetings of Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. Some people do not actually celebrate Christmas, but they celebrate holidays. Okay, so this is our first painting, and we will be everything dry, and we will add readings later. So for our next project that we will do, we'll be doing mistletoe with red ribbon like this. Okay, so this is I made like a week ago, but let's do it so that I will be giving this to someone, and I will make another one so that I can give to somebody else. Okay, so I have this another sheet of 1/4 of watercolor paper, and since I am using a small sheet of paper, I will be just using the size 4 of my watercolor paintbrush. First thing that we need to do is to mix our colors. Will be using the sap green, and I will be using another shade of green, like a little darker green. Okay, there. We'll be using another dark green in our palette. I'm just going to mix it here. You could use a different shades of your green in your palette, or if you have a limited number of greens or watercolor, what you could do is to add little violet to your greens to make it darker, or tiny bit of black. So there, you can make it so you can make 2 shades of green or darker green. Okay, so what we are going to do is that we will be painting going that way, going this, so alright, but the real card would be like this. Okay, so we'll be painting it this way. Alright, so let's start with our first leaves. Okay, so mistletoe. Alright, so we will be doing an oval shape. Okay, oval shape like this, and another to the other side, and then we're going to add the stem. Okay, not too long. Okay, then we will be doing it again in different like a different layer. Okay, some would be like lower and some would be higher. Okay, there. Alright, so just round. Oh, sorry, like oval. Okay, 2 ovals, and then going to get another one. Alright, they're oval, and then okay, there you go. Next, I will be using dark green. Make sure if you're going to paint over another leaf, make sure that your painting is dry already. Okay, for this case, it's not. Okay, so let's wait for it to dry a bit. Okay. Okay, so our painting is now dry, and we will be getting the dark green, and we will be painting like a little over it. So that's why I waited for it to dry. Oh no. Okay, and then oval, and then another one, then make a stem, then here we could have we could have another one, another oval here, and another one there to the right. We will be adding some berries later on, but we won't be using watercolors. We will be using a white pen, a white gel pen. If you have a white wash, you can do that. If you have a white pen, that would be very good also. It is not just advisable to use white watercolor, because after it dries, it won't be white, but it will be gray or a different color, and it will look like a mess. So we will be using just white gel pen. Okay, so I'll be adding another one here. Okay, there, and then we will be having that stem. Okay, now, okay, it looks like this one needs more paint here. Okay, there you go. And then now we will be turning this upside down. Okay, so that would be our mistletoe. Now we will be painting excuse me, we will be painting the ribbon. Okay, so you could use any red. I will be just using a light shade of the permanent rose here. So we'll be starting with light. It's better if you do light to dark, because if you're painting it dark first, going to light, it would be difficult. Okay, so now we'll be just paint the middle of the ribbon. Okay, seems like I have lots of water in my brush, so I dabbed it to my tissue paper. Okay, there. Now I'll be adding the just lines, just making it, I'm making like the shape of the ribbon. Okay, there. Remember to leave some like white spaces. That will also help you to make like an illusion that it is folded or something like that. Okay, like a red ribbon. The first mistletoe that I made with the ribbon was too big. Okay, and that's a huge mistake that I learned, so I did it again. Okay, so there, let me do like little lines and the shape of the ribbon. Okay, there. Okay, remember to add little spaces. Okay, now we'll be adding the, what do you call that? Okay, the tails of the ribbon here. Alright, make sure that your paint is dry when you're going to paint the ribbon. Okay, especially if it's going to touch your first painting. And make sure that it is dry, because if not, it will just mix and it will bleed. The colors will bleed to each other and it won't look good, unless if you are intentionally going to bleed the colors, and that would be fine. Okay, so there, the first layer of the ribbon. I will be getting more permanent rose, and I am going to paint over it. Okay, there. And then for a ribbon, okay, there, you could remember to put some white spaces in between. Alright, there. And another one here. Okay, since we have space here and here at the top, at the bottom of our card, we could put the greetings in either the top or the bottom, or we could do both. All right. Okay, just finishing this ribbon, and that's it. Okay, so that's our mistletoe. Okay, and it looks like our mistletoes are dry, so I'm just going to get the white pen. Then I will be adding the white berries here. So for this one, it's a Uniball White Gel Pen. Again, if you have whitewash, it is also better to use that. Look at there. I just see these this mistletoe anywhere here in plastic, because we do not have mistletoe in the Philippines. But of course, we use this as like plastic decoration for our Christmas tree or the front door. Alright, so we're just adding some berries. Okay, just round of it. Alright, next will be, if the ink is dry, then we could add a very tiny bit of indigo, and then you could put a little dot to your berries. Alright, there you go. So we're done with our mistletoe. We will go back with our poinsettia here, and this time I will be adding some lines to the leaves and to the petals. I will be using also again the white ink that we have, or white gel pen. You can take this Uniball. I think I won't be adding it to all of the petals, but some of it, especially those petals that are at the top, so you can easily see it. But after this, I will be adding some details on some of the leaves and some of the petals. But instead of using this pen, I will be using watercolor. Okay, so I used it only to add details. I will be using red, so I have it not okay. I did not mix it in my palette, but I grabbed some paint, very tiny water with it, so that it will be thick. And there, I will be adding this to some of the petals. Okay, I did not mix it in the watercolor palette anymore. I just put it directly. Alright, there, and I will be putting it to some of the petals, especially those light ones, to add more details and make it more beautiful. Okay, I won't be putting it to every petal that we have here, but if you want to, you could do so. Okay, there. It's just very simple. I'm just using the tip of my brush. Very light pressure. Okay, there. Just very light pressure, the tip of your brush. That's why pointy tip brushes are really good for painting, because you can add more details. You can, even if you have a big brush, as long as you have pointy tip, you could make thin lines like that. Okay, am getting some green here, and I will be adding some of the details on the leaves. And then we'll be going to our next one. Okay. Especially on those big leaves that we have. Okay, so we're done with the poinsettia. Okay, we will be going to the next one. And the next what we are going to paint would be hollies with berries. So let's grab some red and let's make some berries. I will be just using permanent red, and I'm going to paint some berries. Okay, like round. You can make it a little bigger. Again, I'm still using the size I'm using the size 6 of my brushes for this. You could use size 4 if you would like to make, if you want to make smaller, but if you have a pointy tip of a brush, that would be good. I'm going to add one more. Okay, it seems like I have too much water in my berry, so I'm absorbing it with my brush, and I'm dabbing it into my tissue paper. Okay, there. I think I would like to add one more. Okay. And another one. Okay, so I have 5 berries now here. Then I will be getting, I won't clean my brush, but I will get a little of Crimson Lake and I will add it to my painting, to my berries, to add a little darkness to my berries, and it won't look flat. Okay, there you go. So now we could add some more berries, like tiny berries. It doesn't matter if it's not too round, it's okay, because again, it's berries, so make it imperfect, makes it look good. Okay, because these have organic shapes. You could add more berries if you want to. You could also, if you have a limited palette, you could add like a little violet or a little black to your painting. I mean, to your red, to make it darker. Okay, now okay, let's add one more berry and I'm I'm okay. Alright, there you go. I look into the pictures of the berries online and I can see actually a lot, but most artists would like do 2 or 3 berries or 5, but yeah, you could make it more. Oops, oh no. Okay, I messed it up, but we will cover this one. It's okay. So for the leaf, I know the leaf of these holly is tricky, so what we're going to do is to make from the normal shape of the leaf. Okay, so we'll be doing this shape. Alright, we'll make it pointy at the end. Okay, there. Oh, then we are going to make the shape of the scallops or those pointy pointy parts of the leaf of the hollies, and then we're just going to fill it in with the colors. Alright, there. Believe me, it's not easy to paint the leaves of the hollies. It took me time to practice it and to make beautiful holly leaves. Okay, there. So like we are making a line going out. Okay, there. And then just fill it in. Holly leaves are not easy to paint at first, but if you keep on practicing, you will get the hang of it. I'm just going to add a little more dark of the color here. Okay, there. So it will look nice and a little darker. It fix also the shape. Okay. Alright, there. Oops. Okay, there. Now I'm going to paint another one. Again, we will cover this one. So, there. I'm just covering it. Okay. Make a huge leaf. When practicing this holly, you can make it small first, and then once you get the hang of it, you can make it bigger. Okay, so now once you have the shape of the leaf, you can make like going there, going out. Then it's like you're making letter C here. C there. See that technique? It's like you are making the letter C at the side. Okay, let's do it one more time. Let's do it on the other side. Okay, C, and then C, and then letter C, and then. Okay. There you go, and just fill in the colors. You can add more darkness to the green, especially on this part there, so we could cover up the layers of of the brushes and strokes there. Okay, there you go. So now there we have that holly with the leaves. Okay, now so we're back, and most of our paintings are dry except for these holly. So what we're going to do next is that we are going to write Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to our cards, and we will be starting with the poinsettia. So these are mostly red and green, so I will be using the black brush pen. This is a small brush, and this is one of my favorites. Actually, this is my favorite brush. So, favorite brush pen. So I will be adding a greeting here. I am just going to write Merry. It's just a simple M. Okay, just a downstroke. Alright, there you go. Make sure if you are doing the calligraphy, make it slow. Okay. Alright, Merry Christmas. There you go. And I think I am like I would like to add some more lines of on the leaves, so I will be doing that with I'll be adding more lines with dark green here. We could also fix this because right there, and fix the painting that we have here. Okay, there you go. Alright, so I think I'm satisfied with this. Let's move on to the next one. And our next one, we have these mistletoe. So Merry Christmas. We wrote Merry Christmas earlier. Now I will be adding Happy Holidays. Okay. Okay. Okay, so in the Happy Holidays, I will be starting with the letter P here and the Y. Okay. The P, I started with this one. Okay, what's wrong? Okay, so we have the happy, and we will be adding holidays. Okay. Make sure to write very, very slow. Okay, so we have these finished Happy Holidays. Now what I would like to do is to add some borders to our card, and for that border I will be using gold. Okay, so I will just get my gold from my palette. You could use different color if you want to. If you would like to have gold, there are, or metallic palettes, so there are also different watercolors with different brands, like the Fine Tech. You could check that, but for my palette I will be using the gold that I have. That's what I like with my Mungyo, because it has a lot of colors, and also it has metallic colors, so I don't have to buy a different set. Okay, so for the border, what I would like to do is that I won't use any roller, but I was just going to use my hand. I will be lifting my wrist and also my elbow from the table and just do a straight line. Okay, so I'm lifting my hand, my wrist, and my elbow. Okay, so let's do this. I'm just going to move it around, going to the right. Okay, there. It doesn't have to be super straight line because it won't be look like personalized. I like giving personalized greeting cards because it is also thoughtful, right? Okay, there. Okay, I'm just going to add a little more. Okay, there. Let's do it one more. And another one. Okay, there. So I already have my border. Alright, so these are our finished cards, watercolor. And okay, so here I added some lines with the red and the white gel pen. Okay, for this one I added also some lines and also with the gel pen on the berries. So you can do that to add highlights on your berries. Okay, if you did not if you didn't leave small spaces like this, you could do it after and when it's dry with the white gel pen. Okay, so now here I have the mistletoe. I added a border here. You could do that as well. So it's up to you if you would like to give it a try. Alright, so that's one of our artworks this month, and I hope you like this and check out my other videos. Thank you for watching.